Africa has long been the backbone of France's economy. But the winds of change are sweeping across the Sahel. In recent years, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali have taken bold steps to expel French military forces, corporations, and political influence from their territories. This seismic shift has left France reeling, with billions of euros in losses and a growing economic crisis. Today, we explore how the dismissal of France from the Sahel has impacted its economy, the companies directly affected, and the actions taken by Sahel leaders to reclaim their sovereignty. So fasten your belts and let's fly. For decades, France maintained a neo-colonial grip on its former African colonies, particularly in the Sahel region. Through unfair trade agreements, military presence, and corporate exploitation, France extracted vast amounts of wealth from Africa while reinvesting little into local economies. Former French President Jacques Chirac once admitted, without Africa, France would slide down into the rank of a third-world power. But now, the tables have turned. The rise of revolutionary leaders like Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso, Assimi Goïta in Mali, and Abdourahmane Tiani in Niger has marked the end of France's unchecked dominance. These leaders have expelled French troops, nationalized key industries, and cancelled exploitative contracts, sending shockwaves through the French economy. The first major blow to France came with the expulsion of its military forces from the Sahel. For years, France justified its military presence under the guise of fighting terrorism. However, Sahel leaders argued that France's true motive was to protect its economic interests. In 2022, Mali ordered French troops to leave, followed by Burkina Faso and Niger in 2023. This military withdrawal was accompanied by the expulsion of French corporations. Companies like Orano, formerly Arriva, TotalEnergies, and Air France were forced to halt operations, leading to massive financial losses. The Sahel nations made it clear, the era of exploitation was over. One of the most significant losses for France has been in its nuclear energy sector, heavily reliant on uranium from Niger. Orano, France's state-owned nuclear giant, sourced nearly 35% of its uranium from Niger at exploitative prices. Niger received only 5% of the profits, while France pocketed the rest. In July 2023, Niger's new government suspended uranium exports to France, accusing Orano of plundering the country's resources. This decision has had a devastating impact on France's nuclear industry. With uranium prices soaring, France has been forced to seek alternative suppliers from Canada and Kazakhstan, increasing its energy costs by over 40%. The suspension has also led to billions of euros in projected losses for Orano, which has halted its mining operations in Niger. This marks a turning point in France's energy security, as it struggles to maintain its position as a global nuclear power. Another major casualty of France's expulsion from the Sahel is Air France. For decades, the airline enjoyed a near monopoly on flights between the Sahel and Europe, generating staggering revenues. In Mali alone, Air France earned 500 million CFA francs daily, while Niger and Burkina Faso contributed 430 million and 390 million CFA francs, respectively. However, when Air France suspended flights in response to political changes, Sahel nations responded by banning the airline from returning. Mali's foreign minister, Abdoulaye Diop, criticized Air France's exploitative practices, stating, "The era of arrogance is over. If Air France wants to return, it will stand in line like any other company." The airline has since reported a €65 million loss, with no signs of recovery. This loss is symbolic of France's broader economic decline in the region. The Sahel is rich in gold, lithium, and coltan, resources critical to modern technology. French mining companies like Endeavour Mining and B Group once dominated the sector, extracting these minerals at minimal cost while leaving African nations impoverished. However, the new governments in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have nationalized key mining operations and revoked French permits. Mali, Africa's third-largest gold producer, has expelled French firms and partnered with Russian and Chinese companies instead. Burkina Faso has imposed strict regulations, making it nearly impossible for French companies to operate. As a result, France's mining industry is collapsing. Endeavour Mining has reported a 30% drop in revenue, while Bouygues Group has lost key logistics contracts worth billions of euros. This shift has not only hurt French corporations but also exposed France's reliance on African resources. France's energy sector has also taken a hit. TotalEnergies, the country's largest oil and gas company, once controlled major oil fields in Chad, Gabon, and West Africa. However, with Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso severing ties, TotalEnergies has lost access to cheap energy resources. Niger has frozen oil exports to France, opting instead to partner with China. Mali and Burkina Faso have turned to Russia and Middle Eastern nations for energy deals. This has forced France to rely on expensive imports from the US and the Middle East, increasing its energy costs by 25%. The loss of African energy reserves has not only hurt TotalEnergies but also weakened France's position in the global energy market. The expulsion from the Sahel has exposed the fragility of France's economy. For decades, France's economic strength was artificially sustained by African wealth. Without access to cheap uranium, gold, oil, and minerals, France is losing its competitive edge. The French government is now facing rising energy costs, declining corporate revenues, and a growing trade deficit. The loss of the Sahel has also sparked anti-French sentiment in other former colonies, such as Senegal, Chad, and Cameroon, where governments are reconsidering their economic ties with France. If this trend continues, France risks losing its remaining strongholds in Africa, permanently cutting off the wealth that has sustained it for over a century. The dismissal of France from the Sahel marks the end of an era defined by exploitation and inequality. The leaders of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have made it clear, Africa will no longer be a source of wealth for foreign powers. As France grapples with its economic crisis, the Sahel nations are forging new partnerships with countries like Russia, China, and Turkey, ensuring that their resources benefit their people first. The question now is, will France accept its defeat and adapt to a new world order, or will it cling to the remnants of its colonial past? One thing is certain, the Sahel has spoken, and the world is listening. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analyses of global events. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious.